They are afraid that we are not afraid of them. They hope the most that we lose hope. That's the true character of a totalitarian regime. I was one of the founder of the Tiananmen student movement. I was one of the founders of the hunger strike that shocked the world. And then I was the key student representative when finally the hunger strike brought the Chinese government leaders to sit down with us.
现在只是从人道的立场上说解决这个问题，纠缠的问题，所谓纠缠在体现某些事。
That's one of the key reasons made me number 2 on Chinese government's most wanted list. And then that has contributed to the reason that I find myself fleeing China. When we took the streets in Beijing in 1989, we demand for freedom. We demand for political freedom. We demand for free election. We demand for people have the right to vote. And at very same time, we demand for press freedom.
Quelques 300 journalistes de la presse officielle se sont joints aux étudiants pour protester contre la censure et obtenir la liberté de la presse.
Press freedom has always been one of the most important weapons for the people, for the less powered. It was always the press freedom that take the first step, make the government realize that their power is not unlimited. I have been living in exile since 1989. One of my best friends, Mr. Liu Xiaobo, was arrested for his involvement not only during the Tiananmen student movement, but also for his effort in keep the movement alive. He was arrested, sentenced heavily, and then I decided to go back to China to join him in the prison. When I tried to turn myself in, the Chinese government did not want to sit down with me. I turned myself in 3 times unsuccessfully. If they want me, they should have taken me. But that tells us the true character of Chinese Communist regime. They are afraid of any confrontation, even afraid of confrontation from someone they have a most wanted warrant issued against. I became from most wanted to most unwanted. They are much more afraid than the world can imagine. They are afraid that we are not afraid of them. They hope the most that we lose hope. That's the true character of a totalitarian regime. And I think the world should keep that in mind when deal with them, when have an opportunity to have that dialogue, which we didn't have the opportunity to conduct. They don't want that dialogue we wanted in Tiananmen Square. They still don't want it today. Since 1989 Tiananmen student movement, one aspect the Chinese government, Chinese totalitarian regime oppressed the most is in the freedom of expression and press freedom. Being a journalist is a very high-risk occupant in China. If you have been following the work of Reporters Without Borders, then you should know that RSF have been advocating for many Chinese journalists who were thrown into prison simply because they are journalists. Being a journalist in China means they are the enemy of the state, because naturally a journalist wants to report the truth. Reporting the truth, as simple as that. Reporting the truth is a direct challenge to this regime. It is a very important task for any Chinese dissident to tell the world what's going on in that country, how harsh it is the regime is oppressing us. A group of young students during the pandemic hold up a piece of white paper to protest in China. Immediately, the world got the message. With no words on the blank piece of paper, the world get the message. So did the Chinese regime. I want to use this example to remind the world there is no such a thing as China is special. The Chinese people are special. No, nobody in this world that are so special they disregard freedom. Everybody in the world is born with a desire for freedom. Everyone eventually will go through the same path and emerge into a free society, every country. The China will emerge into a free society sooner or later, maybe with even higher degree of sacrifices, but we will have our press freedom, we will have our democracy. You're welcome.